Hello, Frank fam. Welcome to today's video. Going to be doing the top 10 fragrances that I wore for 2021. And so this will be obviously a mixture of spring, summer, fall, and winter fragrances. But since it is my most worn, it's probably going to be a lot of familiar faces to you. When we think about what you wear the most, I work in an office 5 days a week. So I have to wear fragrances that are not extremely challenging. I'm dealing with um, other office staff that work with me and for me. Then I'm also dealing with a lot of customers. And so I can't wear, you know, really oud heavy or really, you know, animalistic fragrances and things of that nature. Not that I even like that style of fragrance, but if I did in my setting, my top 10 of actual fragrances that I've actually worn this year, and I think a lot of these reviewers are not being 100% honest, or they just are in such a different environment. You know, I guess if you are able to be full time as a fragrance reviewer, maybe you can wear whatever you want to. So, my list is probably going to be a little safer than most. So, top 10, let's get started. Number 10, I wore this. This is John Varvatos Artisan Blue. Wore this a lot in the summertime this year. Smells the way it looks. It's very light, fresh, clean, linen, little bit of that saltwater accord, but it's just a good, clean, safe, calm blue fragrance. All right, number 9, one that you may or may not be familiar with. This is from the House of Guerlain. This is Homme La Boissée, or L'Eau Boissée. And so if you're familiar with Guerlain Pour Homme, which some of you are, and a lot of you may not be, both of those are very green fragrances. But with the L'Eau Boissée, it's got, and I'm not a drinker, so I don't know, you know, what these mixed drinks are, but it's got this kind of a cocktail mixed in with it. If you are familiar with Sean John 3 AM, this is like a very upscale, greener version of that. It's got that martini, or not martini, but maybe margarita, you know, smell to it with the lime and the booze. But then it's also got a lot of vetiver and a lot of green grass. This makes me think of spring when the grass is starting to be mowed and all that. So I did wear this a lot in the spring and the summer. Haven't worn it much since the heat of the summer. Number 8, this is one that used to be my signature scent, and kind of wore myself out on it. And but Acqua di Gio Profumo is still an easy reach, especially in an office environment. It smells great. It's a little, you know, haven't smelled it in a while. Haven't wore this a lot lately. I wore it a lot more earlier in the year. But it's just spicy and fresh and a semi-aquatic. To me, it's a nice evening fragrance as well. You can wear it's a really versatile fragrance. You can wear this with a suit and tie. You can wear it with jeans and a white t-shirt. So it got worn a lot, just not as much as it used to. That used to would have been number 1 on the list. All right. Number 7, a new one to my collection for 2021, and that is Spice Bomb Extreme. And I started wearing this in the middle of fall and wintertime. Had I had it earlier in the year, had I had it all year, this would have been a lot higher on the list. If I'd have had this in January, February, even March. Just a beautiful, spicy, ambery vanilla. It's an oriental, borderline gourmand, warm, but cold weather fragrance. So it gives off these warm vibes. Again, you know it, very spicy. Obviously, this one has like cardamom and maybe nutmeg and some cinnamon and things of that nature that kind of gives it that Christmas time feel, holiday. It's a great holiday fragrance, but on a cold day, that is an amazing scent. All right, in the sixth spot, one that I fell in love with a couple years ago, and it's one of them that I have said it's one of those fragrances that I will always have to have. This is one of the few that I have several bottles of. It's Dior Eau Sauvage, and this is what I wear soon as the weather starts getting even sort of not cool anymore. When that springtime rolls around, this is spring in a bottle. To me, it is what the Garden of Eden probably would have smelled like. I mean, it is so beautiful. And this is the current iteration. I like this, honestly, better than the old formulations from the 80s and 90s. And I've never smelled one probably earlier than that. I've smelled Dua's take on the original. And very oak moss and very got that powerhouse, what I consider kind of funk to it. This doesn't have that. This is all about the citrus opening with jasmine, which smells like honeysuckle to me. It was a big influence, I think, on this line, but it is just an amazing fragrance. That citrus pop hits you right in the face, and it is the best citrus opening of any fragrance I've ever smelled. And then the dry down to the honeysuckle accord and the vetiver. There is some herbs in there as well with, I believe it is sage. And it is just truly, truly amazing. All right. That is Dior Eau Sauvage. And number 5 on the list, you have to have a Creed Aventus fragrance if you work in an office environment. And rather than buy a 400 bottle of Creed Aventus and spray it all the time, I have a couple of different ones. Armaf, CDNIM, Club de Nuit, Intense Man. But this is the one that I go to more because I appreciate the opening better, on Al Haramain L'Aventure. The dry down to this and the Armaf Club de Nuit are very similar, and of course they're very similar to Creed Aventus. Not as high quality. I don't care what anybody says. Even Armaf Club de Nuit is not as high quality as Creed Aventus, but they're so close and they're so similar. When you talk about $30 versus $300 or $400, to me it's not even a choice. So for my Aventus cologne this year and most years, that is going to be the one that I go to the most. All right, let me get these kind of rearranged a little bit because we are squeezing some room here. And got to go to number 4. All right, number 4 on the list, again from the House of Guerlain. This is L'Homme Ideal Eau de Toilette. I own several in this line, and although at the moment this is not the one I'm wearing the most currently, throughout the year and throughout the past couple of years, this has definitely been the one that I've worn the most. This is my largest bottle. This is the, what is this? This is the 5 ounce. And I see I've put a little bit of it in this one, but this is not the main bottle that I've used. I've actually got 2 others just in this, the EDT. Then I own the La Intense version, the Extreme version. I've got large samples of the Sport and the Eau de Parfum. This one has always been my favorite of that line, but I'm really liking La Extreme at the moment. But as far as the one I wore the most this year, definitely the Eau de Toilette. All right, in the number 3 spot, most worn, one of y'all's favorites. Y'all love it so much. Dior Sauvage. Of course, I say that tongue in cheek. This is the fragrance that people love to hate on the most. But 2 reasons why it is one of my top 3 most worn fragrances. Number 1, it is the most complimented fragrance that I own. Of everything that I wear, as far as people actually verbally saying something to me about it, I get more compliments from Sauvage than anything, and it's not even close. And love it or hate it, and most people like to say they hate it, it is a compliment monster. And then the second reason is my wife loves it. So, you know, I say all the time, you wear fragrances for one or 2 reasons. You either wear them because you like the way they smell, or you wear them because someone else likes the way they smell. And my wife loves the way they smell, so I wear it a lot. Fragrance community, love or hate, my wife loves it. All right, number 2. This is one that was not actually love at first smell for me. When I bought it, I've had this particular bottle, which I don't know if you can see the juice level. It's about right here. So I've hit this pretty heavy. The majority of this usage come this year. I've had this bottle though for probably 2.5 years or more. I've been in the fragrance community watching videos rapidly for going on 3 years now. And, you know, I started with this, Acqua di Gio Profumo, then I got this, and that's before I got into the community. This is what I had for a while, and then I got this. And then what got me into the community was I was in Seoul, South Korea at the airport, and just stumbled into a humongous fragrance store. Didn't know Christian Dior from, you know, Tom Ford, even though I owned a Dior fragrance. But walked up to the Tom Ford counter, picked up a bottle of Tom Ford Gray Vetiver. I picked up 1 bottle in a store that had probably 1,000 bottles in it. Smelled it, absolutely loved it, bought it. Bought 2 or 3 bottles after that, and it's what got me searching. I just looked up Gray Vetiver. Of course, it pulled up Guerlain Vetiver. Reviews on it was great. I bought it. I didn't like it at first. Put it in my desk. Pulled it out 8 months later and loved it, you know. And this is another one like that. When I got this, I was looking for something similar to this, but a little bit different. And when I smelled this, I didn't think it was similar to that. Of course, my nose wasn't very astute at the time. But now I see the similarities. I see how they fit the same need. But to me, this one is just way better. Again, to me, what I prefer, it doesn't get me as many compliments, or it hasn't so far as that one, but this is probably my second most complimented fragrance that I wear regularly. And Versace Dylan Blue. Don't need to say much more. It's just fantastic. I believe this has lavender in it, and lavender is my favorite note in all of perfumery. and you'll see. So you knowing that, you're not going to be surprised at what my number one most wore fragrance of the year was. And it is Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. So when you see my top three, you kind of see the similarity of what I like to wear when you're considering being around a large amount of people on a weekly basis. You know, I have to wear things that are mass appealing, but also appealing to me. Now, this one is not as appealing to me as it used to be. I can wear it and it doesn't bother me. I'm not in love with it. I really love this, and man, I really love this. It has the Ambroxan, and it has that clean, fresh, zesty, you know, there's a spiciness to it that I appreciate. You know, you don't get a lot of woods and things in these blue fragrances, these office fragrances. And I do love woody fragrances, even though I don't really have any on my list here other than maybe the Guerlain Homme. But saying all that, the lavender in this fragrance is what makes it for me. Sometimes I will just put pure lavender oil on. I like it that much. If I buy bath salt, it's lavender bath salt. And so to me, this is, and I want to get, so y'all tell me, what is the company that has that Molinard? And it's their lavender fragrance. Y'all let me know if that's good, because I want to buy a bottle, and it's hard to find right now, even though that's kind of an affordable fragrance. You can't find it right now. But y'all let me know in the comments if that's good, if you've smelled it, because I'm really looking for a really great lavender forward fragrance that I can put in my rotation to not be wearing this one all the time. But that is my top 10 most worn fragrances of 2021. Let me know what your top 10 is. Put your top 10 lists in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications bell. And until we see you again, God bless. Frag on, Frag fam.